Every day, you wake up as your own boss, making your own way. Every day, you continue your journey to change the world, your team, and yourself. Every day, you encourage, congratulate, celebrate, and reach toward your goal of being the best and providing the best. The Build Your Best Business Show is for you. The real stories of building a business from other owners and founders along the journey. Find the support and advice you need to successfully start, grow, manage, and exit your business. What are you going to do today to build your best business?
Welcome to Build Your Best Business. I'm your host, Eric Holtzclaw. Build Your Best Business focuses on the entrepreneurial journey. What does it take to successfully start, manage, grow, and exit a business? We're talking today with Bryant Looper. He is Senior Vice President of Sales for Surface Technology, ReST, which is exactly in line with what you think, getting us all to have better rest.
Correct.
I'm an insomniac.
Okay.
So I'm thrilled.
You're our target consumer.
to have you here. So tell us a little bit about what ReST does and the product itself, and then we'll go from there.
So the ReST, we make the ReST bed, which is the world's first truly smart mattress. And we have a unique technology that allows our bed to do something that no other mattress has ever been able to do, and no other mattress except for ours can do, which is in real time, map your body all night long and determine how much pressure is being applied. We actually use a medical grade sensor, which I can talk about a little later, but it knows how well your blood is flowing while you're sleeping. Yeah, most people wake up with their arm asleep or they have stiffness in their hips. That's because pressure can slowly build over time and restrict blood circulation.
Okay, so that's completely crazy. I cannot sleep on the left side of my body.
You probably could on a ReST bed.
I fall asleep. It falls asleep. So if I sleep on the right, and I had a heart condition as a kid that comes back in time to time, and so sleeping on the right's better. But occasionally I switch over to the left, and then I wake up and the left side of my body is like completely asleep.
Right. Well, you only get to choose your sleeping position when you're awake. Once you fall asleep, your body changes positions throughout the night. Most of us go from our back to our side, one side to the other. But the reason why we keep tossing and turning is because we're no longer comfortable in the position that we're in. That pressure builds over time. What makes the ReST bed unique is that when you sleep on our bed, underneath us, we have 5 air chambers that are ergonomically designed from your head, shoulders, lumbars, hips, and legs. And we can map how well you're sleeping. Okay. Then we know, let's say at 2 a.m, if you're back to your side and now pressure's building in your left shoulder and it's going to start causing pain, our sensor can detect and then send a command down below, and that air chamber underneath your shoulder will relieve pressure and get softer in real time while you sleep.
That is
and it
crazy.
Makes automatic real-time adjustments all night long. It doesn't have one static feel. It's dynamically adjusting to ensure you're getting proper circulation. You can stay in the same position for longer periods of time. And it's great for couples because it allows each couple to customize their sleep experience. So
yeah, I think they used to show the twin beds.
Right.
Back in the day. That may have been the better approach.
Yeah. Well, actually, it is technically, you should be sleeping by yourself. Sleeping is not a team activity. Right. When cuddle time's over, you should get as far away from your loved one as possible.
Right. Which is why we have a really large king bed.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Yeah. Get a king bed and get away from your loved one once cuddle time's over.
Right.
So yeah, that's what the ReST bed does. It allows for individualized, customized sleep. And it makes those real-time adjustments to make sure that you're getting natural spinal alignment, your arm's not falling asleep at night, and we're an industry first. No one has ever done this before.
So talk to me a little bit about that. Like the idea sounds like a great idea, but it also sounds hard to pull off, right?
Sure.
Because beds and purchasing beds, I'm sure listening, you've gone through the torture, the rigmarole of getting a bed, right? You go in and there are a million other prices and you have no idea. And is it coil or blah, blah? You have no idea. There's this whole education you have to go through to even decide.
There is. And the education is as clear as mud too. It's very overwhelming. Most people would rather go to the dentist than buy a new mattress. Right. It's a nightmare buying a new mattress because there are 70 different beds. You can't really feel the difference between some of them or all of them, or some of them might feel exactly the same. Yet the sales associate's saying, no, it's completely different technologies.
And how weird is it to lay on a bed in the middle of a store?
Yeah, with bright lights shining down on you.
Pretend like you're sleeping on this for the 2 seconds you're willing to lay here right in front of everybody.
Yeah, it's definitely overwhelming.
Yeah.
And they are I mean, there's a lot of good beds out there. I've been in the mattress industry for going on, I think, about 13 years now. And there are a lot of good beds to choose from, but it's very difficult to find your perfect bed. There's no one perfect bed for everybody. The mattresses are not, they're like shoes. It's not a one size fits all.
Right.
But that's what we're helping to solve that problem, because we think that there could be a bed for everybody, so long as the bed doesn't have one feel forever. Because your body's constantly in a state of change. Our needs are constantly changing. So if you had a bed that could change as often as your needs changed, well, then there you go. So
changing meaning just that because your body as you get older, or just what do you mean by that?
Well, it's not just even as you get older. That is a component of it. One of the things that was one of the communities that the ReST beds really resonated well in is the athletic community.
Okay.
And we've done a lot of work with Ironman, the triathlon company, and CrossFit, and a lot of the top pros in both of the sports now are sleeping on a ReST bed because they're they're so they have such intense training.
Okay.
One night their shoulders are incredibly sore. The next night their hips are very sore. So they want a bed that that can change and have a different feel depending on how, your physical state at that time.
But the bed is determining that. You're not necessarily determining that.
Well, yes. Yeah, it's a combination. So we actually have it's a combination of both.
Okay.
We do have what we would call like our AI built into our software that can make adjustments on your behalf while you're sleeping, but you're still in control of the technology. Okay. So you can custom fit it and say from a range of firmness. Some people like firmer, some people like softer. And the answer is, you're right, whichever you subjectively think is more comfortable. So you can set the ReST bed to say, I want it on a softer setting overall or a firmer setting overall, or you can really go into the settings and say, you know what, I want additional lumbar support, or I want, much more pressure taken out of my hips that night. Okay. So you're still in control of the overall experience.
Okay. So bringing, and I kind of interrupted the concept of bringing this kind of product to market. I mean, it sounds awesome, right? Mm-hmm. Like definitely a need, but it sounds very complicated.
Right.
So talk to us a little bit about that.
It is. It's the most complicated mattress ever built. And I can say that from someone who's seen a lot of different types of brands and technologies.
Which, by the way, is not something that you're typically suggested to do in the entrepreneurial world.
Right. Yes. let's make the most complicated thing ever in our industry and then see what happens.
Right. Exactly.
So, but we call ourselves like the Tesla of beds because we're half mattress, half computer. And, people scratch their heads when they first started seeing electric cars, and now look at what's happening, how quickly it's evolving. Mm-hmm. So we're very optimistic that we've got grand plans for how our company is going to grow. Because at the end of the day, I think what helps us is the frustration of buying a bed is it's difficult.
Yeah.
For couples, it's almost impossible, especially if you have a 6'4", 250-pound guy with his 5'3", 110-pound wife.
Right.
How are you going to find a mattress that both of you are going to like? You're not. You're going to have to compromise and find something that you can both live with.
Yeah.
If you had a bed that both sides adjusted independently, then that would solve that problem. And there is, one of the only mattress company out there before us that really had kind of cracked that code or had begun to solve that problem is Select Comfort Sleep Number mattresses, because that's their value proposition. Is you have a remote, you have a his and her remote. You make your side firmer, you make her side softer, and you don't have to compromise.
Yeah.
We've taken that and we've taken it 2 steps further. We said that is a terrific idea. But instead of having one mattress that the whole side gets firmer or softer, what if you could isolate the firmness to target it on your body where exactly you need it? Mm-hmm. And furthermore, when you're on your side, you need a mattress that feels different than when you're on your back.
Right.
So instead of having to wake up every time you roll over, what if the bed could do it for you? What if the bed knew what position you were in and could make those adjustments while you're sleeping? And that's what those are the 2 main differentiating values that we're bringing to the market that we're incredibly excited about.
Yeah. So talk about bringing that to market.
Mm-hmm.
The path of how that even happened or looked like.
Well, we officially launched in December of 2015 was when the bed became for sale. And it was a group of us in a room, basically 3 of us. And we said, okay, how do we get someone to buy this? I had come from the bedding industry. And
so did they bring you in for that expertise, or were you there earlier when they were doing the technology too?
I was there I was during the final stages of development was when I joined the team, and they said, okay, we've got an engineer, we've got an operations guy, we've got our software team, we have a finance guy, but now they need a sales guy to help get it into the market. And so we started.
But let me ask you about that, because bringing they brought you in to do the sales. They'd already done the operations and engineering.
Right.
Was that good, or we should wish they'd been there a little earlier?
Of course, I wish I would have been there sooner. And I like to call 2016 our soft opening year.
Yeah.
It's hard to get anybody to give you the time of day when you're a new company and you're touting this very innovative technology. It's just, the industry can be a little cynical and say we hear innovation and technology all the time. That being said, 2016 worked out perfectly because we were able to get into a couple dozen smaller retailers around the country. And while we were doing that, we learned we didn't really know, exactly how we needed to engineer the bed until we had feedback from actual consumers.
Right.
So we got fantastic feedback for 2016 from both our consumers and from our retailers, and we're able to make dramatic improvements into our software. Since I've joined the team, we've completely re-engineered the bed. It's actually other than our sensor hasn't changed and our 5 air chambers have changed, the design of the bed has changed, the look and feel has improved, and our software is hitting on all cylinders at this point. We're really in a good spot now.
Yeah, and everybody talks about that first product, that first thing you put out. You go back and go, I can't believe that's what we did first, because it gets iterated and becomes better and better and better.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So in January, in the mattress industry, there's 2 markets. There's the winter Las Vegas market and summer Las Vegas market. This next one's coming up in about 2 weeks. But we really struck out in January of 2016. I was able to get a lot of meetings with a lot of major retailers around the country, and they looked at it and said, "No way, this thing's crazy."
But isn't that always the story? They always start off like this thing that becomes popular. The first thing from the buyers is that's crazy, and we never do it.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Nobody's going to sell this. Nobody's going to be able to buy this.
Which it doesn't help the entrepreneurial journry, because you're
well,
that's what everybody says.
Right.
I should probably continue then. Right. If you think it's a terrible idea, then I should continue. Yeah.
So last summer, early in the summer, we decided, we should take this straight to the consumer and just start getting their reaction and try to sell it direct to the consumer. You can buy a ReST bed on our website, but we decided, and because our bed was appealing to the athletic community, I called up Ironman and said, "Can we show the ReST bed at one of your Ironman expos?" And they said, "Sure, yeah." The next one that was coming up was Ironman Boulder in Colorado. So me and my colleague flew out there, set up a big tent, put 2 ReST beds underneath, and started showing beds to the athletes that were coming to register for the race and demoing the bed. And it was a huge success.
Yeah.
And in fact, the last day, I asked one of the event coordinators if are there any professional athletes here? Is there anybody that I could show this to? And he said, "Well, there's a lady walking around. Her name's Siri Lindley. And if you find her, she's pretty influential in the space." And I didn't know who she was at the time. Then my buddy hits me about an hour and said, "I think that someone just called that woman Siri. She's walking down the..."
And that's not a common name.
Right, yeah.
Or unless they were talking to their phone.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it's one of the 2.
Right.
So I literally, I see her leaving. So I go jogging up to her and I say, "Excuse me, are you Siri?" She said, "Yes, I'm Siri." And I asked her, "Can I have 5 minutes of your time? I want to show you a new mattress." And she reluctantly obliged. She said, I could tell she was in a hurry. She said, "Okay, I'll give you a few minutes." But she was really polite. 5 minutes later, she's raving about it. She loves it. She's sold. We get her a bed. We get a bed delivered for her and her wife. I realized quickly she's a Hall of Fame coach. She's in the Triathlon Hall of Fame. She coaches some of the top athletes in the industry. About a week later, my phone rings. I'm back in Atlanta, and it's this woman with an Australian accent. And she says, "Hi, Bryant. My name is Miranda Carfrey. She's the 3-time Ironman world champion."
Oh, wow.
Siri Lindley's her coach. "I was just at Siri's house. She's been raving about this new mattress. And my husband, Tim, who's also a top professional triathlete, they're interested in getting a bed." And we say, "Absolutely, we'd love to get you a bed." Next thing you know, we're going to all these different Ironman events. Our brand is blowing up in the Ironman community. Our online sales are starting to pick up. We're starting to get traction there. All these professional athletes are contacting us. At each event, we're selling 5 to 10 beds, which is not nothing considering even at the time they were $7,000 a mattress. So
wow.
I mean, it's not a.
This is not a small.
It's not. Yeah, right. We got it down. It's $4,000 now, just so you know.
Right. Yeah.
But then in October, we went to the Kona Ironman World Championship in Hawaii.
Okay, so we'll leave it right there, and we're going to come back.
Okay.
So you're going to go to a break. You're listening to the Build Your Best Business. I'm your host, Eric Holtzclaw. We're talking today with Bryant Looper. He's the Senior Vice President of Sales for Responsive Service Technology, ReST, which makes a bed that you probably need. So we'll be back in just a minute. Congratulations, you're your own boss.
Now comes the hard part. It's not just about starting a business, it's about successfully managing and growing that business to an eventual exit. And along that entrepreneurial journey, you're going to run into questions and problems that you need quick answers to. Things like, do you need a business plan? How do you read a balance sheet? How do you talk to an investor? When do you bring on a founder? Or what if you're having problems with your partner? These are the types of things that you run into as you're trying to grow that business to the next level, and they may not be the things you want to share in public with other people. They're the problems and issues that arise that, as I have experienced along my own entrepreneurial journey, that I needed to have someone I could trust to reach out to and have a conversation and get a different perspective. And it was often those short conversations that would be the thing that moved me from where I was to where I needed to be. It's for that reason I created the On-Demand CXO product offering. On-Demand CXO is something that you can use to have a conversation with a trusted advisor about what's going on in your business. We do a 1-hour phone call to talk about your business, talk about your objectives, and understand what it's going to take to move you from where you are today to where you want to be tomorrow. From there, you have ongoing access to a Slack channel to ask me questions in private about what's going on in your business, so that I can provide some advice or connections to my network to individuals who can help you solve against that problem. You will also have access to my Facebook page, which is full of other entrepreneurs who are along the same journey, to have more broad conversations, things that you trust and would talk about in a networking event. But when you need to go and have that conversation with a trusted advisor, you will have the ability to have a conversation with me in a place that's safe, completely anonymous, and unbiased. I want to see you succeed and build your very best business.
And we're back. You're listening to Build Your Best Business. I'm your host, Eric Holtzclaw. We're talking today with Bryant Looper. He's the Senior Vice President of Sales with Responsive Service Technology, which creates a bed that helps you sleep better through the night. A smart bed.
So, smart mattress, yes.
Smart mattress, sort of the Tesla.
The Tesla, half mattress, half computer.
There you go. And what we were discussing is the use of sort of influentials, which is a really great way to get something out to market and finding a niche.
Right.
If I go after one group, and as entrepreneurs, we have a tendency to say, you have this fear of, well, if I don't go after a certain group, then all of a sudden I may not get the market that I expected. But that worked really well for you.
It really did. I took a page from, I'm sure you know, Seth Godin, and and he talks about creating a mini monopoly. And that's really what happened with us in the Ironman community, because there was no other mattress company in that space. And there still isn't. We're the only game in town. But our unique value proposition justified our existence. Instead of just being, it's a pillow top versus a firm bed, we said, this is an active bed because tonight your shoulders are going to be sore, tomorrow your hips are going to be sore. And so our value proposition really had that stickiness factor with them, and really launched us as far as getting brand recognition and giving us legitimacy in the space. But back to the Kona World Championship. So we flew to Hawaii. Mm-hmm. One of the occupational hazards of
having to go to Hawaii.
Yeah, having to go to Hawaii.
Yeah. You sell beds and you go to Hawaii.
Yeah,
whatever.
So, we're still a small company. So we, me and my buddy, my coworker Nate, we rented a small little Airbnb that we were staying out of. And but while we were in Hawaii, showing the bed at the Ironman World Championship, a company called CSWO, which is the largest bedding and furniture retailer in Hawaii, came by. They were. I had sent an email to their owner, and Mike Woe, who's the owner of CSWO and Slumber World, came by, saw the ReST bed, saw the reaction from all the athletes, saw like just the positive vibe around it, and said, "I like what I see. Sign me up." And our first major retailer was Slumber World in Hawaii. They are like I said, they're the largest bedding retailer. They dominate the Hawaiian Islands. They've been in business for, I think, 80 years, family-owned business. Very, very strong, solid company. But in the mattress industry, a very influential company. Yeah. And it gave us that credibility that we needed.
Yeah. And you just got to push that first pin.
It's all about the first influential
the first
pin, domino.
The first company. Right,
Absolutely. Because we were 100% push in 2016. That's why our soft opening year. But now there's a demand for the ReST bed. And what we are offering retailers is a superior alternative to the Select Comfort product. They're a great company and they make a great product. Right. But no retailer has a mattress that can compete head to head with them.
Yeah.
So
they sell theirs in
exclusively.
And you guys sell through the retail channel.
Exactly. Okay. So we give the retailers a chance to grab incremental business because Select Comfort has a vertical business model where you can only buy a sleepwear bed at one of their stores.
Right.
So that's what we're offering retailers, and we've had tremendous success in Hawaii. Unfortunately, I have to go there like every 2 months now. So I've been there I think 7 times in the past year. Wow. I'll be there in a few more weeks, believe it or not. But they're our first big account. So we roll out the red carpet for our
and they're in Hawaii.
And they're in Hawaii. And my wife tags along.
Okay, I bet she does. Yeah.
But since then, we signed up Denver Mattress shortly thereafter because of the success that we had in Hawaii. They heard about us, and they're a 130 store chain out of Colorado, which was huge for us. That was a big watershed moment for us. And now we are in the process of actively signing up multiple major retailers. We've even brought on 10 independent reps who are now going. They're just ground and pounding around the country to get increased distribution. We're about to hopefully actively start looking for our next full-time employee, which we want someone to be a marketing expert, like a CMO type employee,
right.
To really give us great brand exposure to the consumers. Because at this point, the mattress industry knows who we are. We're making really good headwinds. But for 2018, our goal will be to start having a national presence in the consumer space.
Yeah. So tell me about that kind of growth. I mean, that sounds great, but entrepreneurs, and then the stories are almost always about worrying about failing. We're going to fail. But then if you're successful, there's a whole set of challenges that occur when all of a sudden you've got those big chains and you've got to meet manufacturing and make sure the product's available. And if we go back to the Tesla model, I mean, one of the reasons that some people avoid them, I've avoided looking at one, is I'm like, I don't like to wait 18 months for a car. I mean, I just, I want it. I'm going to go out and I'm going to buy in the next 30 days. I'm going to find something, right? I'd love to trade them.
Sure.
So anyways, talk to me about that. What's that been like?
It's really been an incredible education from my perspective of going from a large company. I worked at Tempur-Pedic for 6 years, and I still have a lot of good friends. It's a fantastic company, one of the largest companies, bedding companies in the world. They have 2 of the most amazing manufacturing plants in the country. So you order a Tempur-Pedic bed and it's at your house 36 hours later.
Right.
Going from working at Tempur-Pedic to ReST was like working on an aircraft carrier, being a part of a well-oiled machine, to this tiny little speedboat in the same ocean, where on the aircraft carrier you have one job, right. but most of the problems on that boat are not your problem. Right? That's not my department. You point somewhere else. But when you're on a little speedboat, everything is your problem.
Right.
So I had the least experience in operations and manufacturing and sourcing raw materials and scaling up, and that was something that was definitely a struggle for us, I would say, at the beginning of this year too. Once we got Slumber World on board in Hawaii and then Denver Mattress, every order that came in was the largest order we'd ever had.
Right.
And it was only getting worse. So we've managed it. I think we've done a pretty good job.
So has it been the financing and operations or manufacturing? Like, where's the biggest area that you guys have had to focus? Because every business has a different thing. Like we're getting so much stuff, we got to go get more, bridge financing or capital in place. And some we can't keep up with for manufacturing. Like, where have you guys seen the biggest struggle?
We've done a pretty good job financially. We have an investor, and we are actively in another round of investment right now. But financial capital's not really been an issue for us. Raw materials and scaling up has been a bit of a struggle for us at times. So, because the sensor that came from the medical industry is manufactured in Canada from our parent company called Patient Tech. Okay. They've been making hospital beds for years. And that's where the idea came from, by the way, where it was the mattresses for patients in a coma or paralyzed. They can't move. Yeah. They get bed sores. And so Patient Tech in Canada, or Vista Medical rather, they manufacture the sensor that goes in hospital beds that makes the adjustments for the patients.
I had no idea they had that, because I'm familiar with the concept of the bed sores and having to move somebody.
Right.
I didn't know they had a bed that did kind of help to adjust.
Right. They have beds that toss and turn for people who can't.
Okay.
Right. Okay. And it's a medical grade mattress, much more expensive. Right. Obviously, it's in the medical industry, but we're the commercialization of that. So fortunately, for the most part, they're prepared to scale up the number of sensors that we need, because it's actually a cloth. It's a fabric. that runs the length of your body that we sew into the bed that you can't feel when you lie on it. But there have been some challenges there. Forecasting is tough because we want to make sure we give an accurate forecast to our investors and we give it to our manufacturers so we don't overshoot. But obviously when you undershoot, you end up having to delay the orders. But that's been our biggest challenge, is just scaling that up, accurately forecasting, because now we're growing pretty exponentially. So it's hard to forecast, and some of the forecasts we send in, they kind of roll their eyes and go, "We'll believe it when we see it."
Right.
But so far, year to date, we've been proven right. So it's vindicating when we go, actually, here's a new purchase order, and so start making those sensors.
Right. But you're following that, because any sales team, I've always been like, just bring me the orders, we'll take care of the problem. So you're fulfilling on that.
Yeah, exactly. I would say the biggest challenge we've actually had has been our limited human resources, because we've been literally a 3-man band. It's myself, Lloyd, and Nate. We're based here in Atlanta, Georgia. And so getting into all of these stores, you need to have a constant presence. You need to be visiting the stores. You need to be having meetings with the owners and the buyers, training the sales associates, managing customer service when you get a bed at home. If there's an issue, if one of the pumps isn't working properly, you need to troubleshoot that. But that at times has felt a little overwhelming. So what helped us out was about really 2 months ago was when we were able to bring on these new independent reps that are helping us out. So that's giving us a bit of breathing room, but every day is still just relentless. It's nonstop between customer service, taking care of the beds, the floor models in the stores, the beds that get delivered at the house.
And do the retailers, are they able to deliver the beds, or do you have to, is it a special thing to get them delivered?
Yep, they'll deliver it for them. Okay. So, I mean, we have basically at worst, it shouldn't be more than a 3-week lead time from when you make an order. But the retailers are ordering in bulk, so they have inventory. Yeah, okay. So for them, they can get delivered. If there was
like a special setup process they had to go through or something.
Nope. It's actually just as easy to deliver as any other type of mattress, other than the fact that there's a housing unit with the pumps and the computer down below that just kind of tucks underneath your mattress. It takes no time to set up. It takes about maybe 20 minutes to set up a rest bed.
Very cool. Is it similar though, like time of replacement and things like that to a regular mattress?
Actually, we have another thing that makes us unique is we're a modular design.
Okay.
So if you look at the construction of our bed on our website, you'll see, which is restperformance.com.
Restperformance.com.
Yeah,
we'll put it in the notes too.
Yeah. You'll see that it's modular. So you can the bed comes in pieces. Okay. So let's say 10 years from now, you might get a body impression because there's a 4-inch foam comfort layer in the rest bed, and foams break down over time, and that's where you get that body impression from. You could buy a replacement piece of foam from us as opposed to an entire new mattress.
Got it.
Or with the sensor or the pump down below, all of the pieces are component replaceable, so you don't have to buy a whole new mattress. So it is an investment up front, but then we think it's a bed for life. The other reason why you need to change your mattress historically every 10 to however many years is because your body changes it. And 10 years from now, you're going to need different support than you need today.
Right.
It's just part of the aging process. Yeah. But not with us. With us, as your needs change, the bed will make the changes too. So we are confident that the rest bed could be in a consumer's home for 20 plus years.
That's very cool. I like that. I like the idea of buying something that you can keep for long term.
Exactly.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Sure.
So future for you guys, what are other products you're thinking about? Differences to I'm sure you're thinking of enhancements all the time.
Yes. Yeah. So one of the things that we're actively working on now is integrating it to the cloud so we can have sleep data.
Okay.
It's not our main value proposition, but it is something that people have really it's really resonated with people. Like they like to wear
connect it to my Alexa.
Yes, your Alexa, your Fitbit.
Yeah.
We absolutely can connect it to the Alexa. So you could say Alexa, raise my head, and then it'll adjust your head.
So it does those kind of things too.
So those are the Internet of Things, the IoT component is something that's in our pipeline that we're working on, as well as we call it our sleep quality monitoring system. Mm-hmm. That can tell you how well you slept at night. It can even take credit for it and say you weren't sleeping well at 2 a.m., but I did this and that, and now you started. I fixed it for you. So it'll be able to give you a comprehensive report of your sleep data. One of the things that's unique about us is we can detect respiration, and our sensor can detect your chest cavity, inhaling and exhaling. Yeah. So we can. That's the closest correlation to your stages of sleep. Whereas wearables use an accelerometer, which is not as accurate as if you had the chest.
Well, and I can see so many extensions on that. One of the dreams of Internet of Things or things like that is just telling you that you're about to have a problem. Like there's a guy that invented a set of soles that go insoles into your shoes,
right?
And they can tell by the gait of the way you're walking if you need to go to the doctor. and it works for diabetic patients.
That's awesome.
So as you're walking and they've got something that tells you, hey, you need to go see somebody. So very interesting. I love kind of the future for all of those products and what they're going to look like.
I'm not claiming we can, but we're working with a sleep clinic in Delaware. And one of our visions and our dreams is to be able to offer medical advice. We could detect if someone who has sleep apnea has stopped breathing, maybe sound an alarm.
Well,
so those are things that we can hopefully be able to do in the future.
Yeah, and things like this that fade into the back. It reminds me, I have Nest thermostats in my house.
Yep.
And every month it tells me how much it saved me.
Right.
And if it didn't do that, because now that they're set, I never touch them.
Sure.
I sort of don't know they're there. Right. So you almost have to have that, like, oh, okay, I've got this bed and it takes care of me. You know, it's an important lesson to entrepreneurs who are building things that are sort of in the background.
Right. Well, and as complicated as our technology is, we don't want people to have to be stressed out about, did I program my bed right so I can get a good night's sleep? We'll take care of that for you. We understand that when it's time, you want to put the electronics away when you go to bed and just focus on going to sleep. And we want to be that sleep partner for people. They'll have confidence that they have a mattress that has a unique technology that's going to take care of them. And back similar to the Tesla analogy, any future updates we have with our software, with the sleep data and the Internet of Things, it's just like you can just download the latest version of the ReST bed and ta-da, you're up and running. So anybody who buys a bed today doesn't miss out on all the future things that we're working on because we can update the bed.
Very, very cool. Well, thank you so much for joining me.
My pleasure. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, so you've been listening to Build Your Best Business. We've been talking with Bryant Looper. He's Senior Vice President of Sales for Responsive Service Technology, ReST, the ReST bed. You can find notes and information on our website and in the show notes for finding out more information. So until next time, what are you going to do to build your best business?